Welcome to another episode of Chamber Chats. We have the honor of being with Bill Hulterstrom with United Way of Utah Valley. It is fair to say that many of you that are watching this probably know him as well or better than I do. So, Bill, as we had the chance to take a tour just a few minutes ago, I was impressed, number one, by the volume of activity that is taking place in a building that from the outside does not look that formidable, but simply impressive with what's going on inside. What are you most proud of about what takes place inside of this building here in the center of Provo?
That's a tough question, but I would probably say I'm very proud of our team, but I'm proud of our team for being able to leverage on the real strengths and caring nature of our community in Utah County. We're doing amazing things on a very small budget. Things that people say, I've heard of that, but just did not know they were United Way.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't know that United Way is sub for Santa, and this will be our 39th sub for Santa this fall. People aren't aware that United Way started the Center for Women and Children in Crisis, which is now the Refuge. So a nice legacy piece there. People probably aren't aware that United Way started the whole access to low-income health care in Utah County with the Mountain West Community Health Center, with Volunteer Care Clinic, with Community Health Connect. I guess right now I'm just really excited about not only our Everyday Learners program, which really focuses on literacy, but I'm really, really proud of our Everyday Strong program, which tackles anxiety and depression among our young people. So saying that I have a favorite, probably not possible, but I'm remarkably proud of our team and the way our team works with such good people.
The work that you do is probably driven largely because of your mission. Did you tell me earlier it's been 38 years that you've been at the helm?
Next week is 38 years, and it seems virtually impossible for that to be true. I think we started with a group of probably about 3, 4, 5 people or whatever, and we've grown a bit.
That's nearly 4 decades.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
Those in this room that are helping us put this program together are not even half that age. So that's
once again, thank you for reminding me of that one as well.
The point being, what do you have left undone? What are some of the things that you feel, whether it's 28, 18, or 38 years, yet to accomplish for the work that you're engaged in?
That's a tough question. I'll tell you we've been doing a lot of community assessment work. We're trying to surveying, data research. Top of mind for almost everyone in our community right now is growth.
Yeah.
And that's a nice, simple, broad category. And I'm going to say, with that growth, how do we keep who we want to be as far as the neighbors, and how do we protect our children by being the kind of neighbors and connective tissues? So as we grow, how do we maintain the connective tissues that are essential for a thriving neighborhood and a thriving community, and ultimately thriving families and children? So the biggest issue I'm worried about is how do we respond in a way that we let growth not dictate a diminished quality of life, but how do we use the principles that we've learned in United Way to help new neighborhoods thrive, to help changing neighborhoods thrive, so children always feel like they're center in our community.
Can you share some of those principles? Can you name one or two?
I'll give you a couple of thoughts. Okay, so there's a lot of research, and looking back at some of these books here we have on the topics, but there's 2 main principles that seem to be effective in whether a neighborhood thrives or not. The number one principle is the number of neighbors that know each other. And that's from Robert Putnam to Felton Earls, a lot of research on that. The second one is neighbors feel a feeling of self-efficacy, that I have some control over my world. The simple premise of helping neighbors know each other is really a strong principle that creates connections like you can't believe. And you look at our South Franklin Community Center in the Boulders area, that whole principle lowered crime, increased educational outcomes. So this idea that we can really help neighbors thrive and give neighbors permission to care. The more adults that know a child's name, the more likely that child is to succeed in life. So I'm saying for all of us, we can proactively engage in our community. I often jokingly tell people, if you read the good book, you have the concept of love thy neighbor. There's no asterisk that says accept. There's no asterisk that says love thy neighbor unless they're a renter. Love thy neighbor unless I'm a renter. Love thy neighbor unless if I'm only going to be here for 6 months.
Provided they think the same way you do.
Yeah, right. Provided the same religion, or they have the same opinion on whatever controversial issue there is. Right. This idea of really neighborhood love, it sounds trite, but it really what we're talking about is neighbors are the secret sauce. And the other secret sauce that we're discovering, that from a lot of data and research, frankly, is grandparents and other caring adults.
When did you know you had this in you to run a nonprofit with such impact for the years that you have? And you don't seem to be slowing down. You don't even appear like you're even, who were your mentors? Who did you look to for an example that instilled in you the confidence and the desire to pull something off like this for the decades that you have?
Great question, and I think you can actually look back, and I'll really start with my mother. I have memories in first grade, my mother and the PTA in Southern California, we were sorting food underneath the Christmas tree to give boxes out to families. And that stuck in me. I kept going through high school. I was probably involved in just a few things like that. It's really in college where I was involved in student government at BYU and got very engaged in service kinds of things. And I had never had any intent of doing this as a profession. I always had every intention of getting a real job someday. Never got that real job, and I've just been still having fun doing this. Mentor-wise, besides my mother, I'll look back and think of a few people. I'll actually go back to one of the pillars of the Valley, Ray Beckham. I remember early in my career, Ray coming in here, just helping me feel like I could do anything, and remind I could do more. I look at Rex Lee, who I had a chance to work on some ecclesiastical things with. But I also look back at, I can think of a couple senior citizens that when I was a student, I was engaged in and made a difference. Bertha Christensen lived around the corner on 7th North, adopted grandparent volunteer, and Bertha made me realize that by me visiting her, made a difference. I think of Grace Frankovich, an older woman who lived down here on the west side of Provo, who I'd go help change their storm windows. And she made me realize I could do anything. She always wanted to share back, and she always wanted to share with me her favorite recipe for stuffed bell peppers. Not realizing what I tell you that story is that she wanted to give back also. Yeah. So she's the one that taught me that we all want to give back, and it's my job to help as many people as possible give back.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you feel will be the legacy then of Bill Hulterstrom as it relates to all of that energy and effort that you've expended on the Valley? What perhaps do you think will be said of you?
Ooh, tough question. On the pragmatic side, there's some measurements of that we're gonna have better reading scores and better mental health issues. I think on the more broad one is that one of my favorite words is nice. That we stay a nice community, that we're nice to each other, that we're kind to each other. That we really, as we are in such a divided state right now, we're being forced to choose sides on virtually every issue. Minor, big, we've got to jump in sides. And I hope the legacy is that I've helped unite this community around common goodness that we can make a difference. So I hope my legacy really is that we are living united. That sounds trite, sounds like a slogan, which it is. But I hope that really is that we can unite and find common ground. We have an amazing community. We've got to keep fighting and working hard to keep that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I want to sign up. I just visiting with you, I'm just like, how can we continue to partner together, the Chamber in Utah, in United Way here in Utah Valley, and be a part of that momentum and your energy and your enthusiasm. I was warned ahead of time that when you met Bill Hulterstrom, this was Janae Moss and Jeremy Hafen and Chris Yaden and Stan Law, all my mentors said, when you get to meet Bill, you will come to find a true champion for the community. And they were true to their word. You are true to the character that they described you as. I'm so glad to have met you in life and to work alongside with you in a community that I adore. And I can tell that you love the same. And may you be continually blessed in your efforts. That the work that you do is augmented by the partnerships, the people, the volunteers that you have. You are just the tip of the spear of a very important effort that takes place to lift our families and communities, and I'm just happy to know you in life. Bill Hulterstrom, everybody, the man, the legend. We're really excited to share a few minutes with you and hope that you enjoyed our time together.